Alright. Round 1 of Penny Dreadful Saturday, I guess. With the Meek Attack, Rhinos, whatever deck. This hand is a bit weird, but I'm gonna keep it. It has the Rhinos turn 3 and it has Bridge, which I can activate turn 4. Looks good. I still got to do some setup on the stream. Okay, light stall Inquisitor. Okay, so if I remember correctly, if I exile a tap land, then there's basically nothing. Yeah. Right. Um. I mean, it's still a Savannah Alliance with Vigilance, which is kind of nice. Oh, okay. Okay, since I'm probably against. Well, what is it though? Is it Wizards? Angels? Could be anything. Don't want to exile the Kiki-Jiki since then I can't tutor for it later if I need it. I guess it's either Shardless or Lelia. I have 2 Shardless already, so I'm gonna go with Lelia. Okay, so it is Angels, which shouldn't be too bad of a matchup for me, especially with the removal I have in hand. Actually, I'm gonna hold on for the Roaring Furnace for now, I think, since Angels can get pretty big pretty fast. Okay, Bishop of Wings. Yeah, I'll just play the Rhinos here. And they can do nothing about it. Another Inquisitor? Well, I drew another bridge, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Yeah, I probably want to kill the bishop here. Yeah, maybe bishop and bridge, I guess. I don't have a second green source for the bridge I have on the field yet. Okay, yeah, not gonna take the footfalls as it makes my shardlesses worse. So it's gonna be the room. Oh, they just concede. Okay. That was a bit random, but I guess if they think they can't win, I'll take it. Okay, so we're up against like angels of some sort. Yeah, probably like a more low to the grounds angels version. I don't think the wrath is gonna be good here. So it's probably just gonna be the removal and that's it. But I mean my deck should be pretty good against them anyways. At least I think so. They do have a lot of flying creatures, but there's not really anything I can do about that. I guess I could put in the Haze Frog, but that's also kind of whatever. Yeah, Lelia not gonna be super good. And then, yeah, the thing with Haze Frog is like, it's only really good in very niche situations. Also, what would I take out for it? I would probably want to keep one Lelia in. I guess I can cut the 25th land since I'm gonna be on the draw. Always a bit risky, but I'll do it like this. Okay, and while the game's loading, I can try to open up the music. So of course by Lo-Fi Girl as usual. Okay, this hand has 3 lands, 2 of them come in tapped. It has lots of removal. Yeah, this is a keep. Okay. Same thing as with the last game. Just gonna exile the bridge and play it immediately. So here I go for the Risa, I think. 2/2 that draws 2, always good. Oh. I think that's too loud. Yeah, way too loud. Sorry about that, now the sound should be more fine. This game is actually exactly like the last, or like basically like the last. Yeah, this time I'm just gonna go for the Roaring Furnace first. But it doesn't really matter, I think, whether I play Cut or Furnace. Okay, another Giada. Yeah, we'll just kill that as well, to be honest. And then next turn I can play the Shardless. Yeah, unfortunately there is not currently an MDFC creature that we can tutor with Imperial Recruiter in the format, or at least I don't think so. So yeah, would be great if we had that, but we don't. Okay, what do I get here? Probably red. Like a mountain. Yeah, seems good. It is the most important color in this deck. I would kind of like to kill that Resplendent Angel though. But I don't think I have anything useful against it. I could go Meek Attack this turn, then next turn Imperial Recruiter into like Agent of Treachery or something. Kind of risky, but I think that's probably the play. Or I could just put in some pressure with the Rhinos. Yeah, but I'm not guaranteed to draw a land, so I think playing Meek Attack this turn actually makes the most sense. If they have like a disenchant, obviously it would be terrible, but they are not even guaranteed to know that I play Meek Attack. I think I didn't have it last game, so yeah, we'll find out. Also, Disenchanter is not super good against this deck since it has multiple game plans and it doesn't do anything against Rhinos. Alright, I did draw the land I needed. So I guess the plan is Shardless and then Haste Rock. And then next turn combo off. I don't know. I could also just on their turn Haste Rock, in their end step Imperial Recruiter for Kiki-Jiki, and in my turn do the combo. That's probably the best option. Yeah, Lane of Hope doesn't do anything here really, so I guess I just win. I can fetch for like an island here, but it's not super relevant. Yeah. And in the end step I am gonna flash in the Recruiter, of course. Getting me the Kiki-Jiki. Ace Frog will die, but that's totally fine. I guess I can also tutor like for some piece of interaction here. It's not really relevant, they don't have anything, but yeah, better safe than sorry, I guess. Okay. Always yes, save target, always yield. And now I can just click Kiki-Jiki a bunch of times. Okay, and that's the first 2-0. Pretty fast match, which is good considering I joined pretty late. Oh, but it looks we were actually the last game anyways. Okay, and now I will set up the stream. Alright, and I'm live, I think. As usual, I gotta check the stream on my second monitor first before I see anything relevant. Yeah. I'm still not used to this stuff. Okay, actually I'm just gonna... Oh yeah, and the new round has already begun as well, so... Okay, it works. Perfect. So, well, I think I'm playing against Enduck, seems. Yep. So, yeah. I haven't done the deck tag for this deck yet. I've recorded the first game, if you're watching this on Twitch already, which I doubt. But, I'll do the deck tag at the end, I guess. Okay. I guess I'll just jump into the game. Oh yeah, well I should also promote the stream, I guess. I can do that in parallel though. Okay, this hand does not look very good. It has plays, but it's super slow. I guess I have turn 4 Rhinos, and I'm on the draw. So, I don't know. It's debatable, I think. I can look and see what Enduck is likely to be playing. Yeah, they've only played Is a Twin this season. Which is funny since I'm also kind of playing Twin, but not really. Yeah, I guess against Twin this is fine. But if they're on Retic Wins now, then I would... Okay, Godless Shrine. So that's probably... Necrotic Ooze combo. Could also be Super Friends or a bunch of other things. We'll find out. I mean, Necrotic Ooze can also just go like turn 2... Okay, Profane Tutor. Yeah, I don't really know what this is. But I don't have a lot of options for play anyways here. So I think Necrotic Ooze doesn't play Profane Tutor, right? No, there's no way. So it's probably Super Friends or like Control or something. Okay, it is Necrotic Ooze. Or like, okay, maybe it's actually regular Reanimator. That's a possibility as well. I do have to kill this immediately though. Because they might just dump something with Buried Life or something next turn and then I'm probably dead. Ah. Okay, they can tutor something now. Okay. So they tutor something with their Profane Tutor. And then they buried alive, so they probably want to unearth the priest next turn. Okay, yeah, this is Necrotic Goose, of course. So what do they have? They have the... Okay, interesting. They have Scourge, Borborygmus, Necrotic Ooze, and Priest, of course. Huh. That probably means they have the Asmodeus in their hand. But I don't really have a way to beat that, right? Actually, I can... Okay, I can... Or I have to Pestermite one of their lands in their upkeep. Which is a bit of a weird play, but I think it's the only thing that makes sense here. At least delay the inevitable by one turn. Of course, if they just have a persist now, I'm cooked anyways, but then that's just how it's gonna be. Yeah, they do have the persist. If they have the Asmodeus in hand, I'm straight up dead. They did have it in hand, so yeah. I'll let them execute the combo here. Yeah, I think Necrotic Ooze is one of the worst matchups of this deck, since they're just super fast and we don't really have a lot of options for graveyard hate. I have one 3-drop in the grave that in the sideboard that can exile one card from the grave, and you can cheat it in with Meek Attack and tutor it with Imperial Recruiter. But that card is also just not super good. And otherwise, yeah, we have some counter spells, but they're also kind of slow. Yeah, it's just regular Necrotic Ooze, nothing too special about it. So basically, they just draw a bunch of cards, discard a bunch of cards for mana, and then eventually kill me with the lands from their hand. Yeah, so I will surely put in the Cemetery Illuminator. Yeah, also the Brush Off, since their deck is mostly instants and sorceries. And I guess cut to ribbons for like priests, and if they play their creatures for value. Also kill a Sire of Insanity in a pinch, which is kind of nice. Otherwise, yeah, this is one of the matchups where Lelia might be interesting, but it's also just kind of too slow. Yeah, Orisa is not good here. I won't have time for that. Hornet Queen also super relevant. Yeah, well, what else do I cut? Yeah, I don't know about Lelia actually, because they don't have a lot of creatures to block it with, but also I can't just bank on having Lelia into turn 4 Shardless and winning, because it's they're playing a combo deck after all, right? So I do think I do cut the Lelias. And I probably want to make room for the Glen Elandra Archmages. I want to play at least one as a tutor target. Yeah, I'm not sure if I need all the 8 removal spells. I guess I can cut Venser, although if they have I don't know, Sarah's Emissary could be good. But they'll play it on creature anyway, so... Alright, let's roll with this. Okay, I do have an Illuminator in the starting hand, but no way to play it. I have turn 2 Roaring Furnace, but no blue source, and yeah, this won't work out. Yeah, this hand is not super good either. And actually against Necrotic Goose I think I have to mulligan aggressively. Okay, this hand has 2 tapped lands, bunch of Rhinos, bunch of removal. Yeah, I can't go down any further. Not what I love to see, but it's fine, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hope for good draws here. gonna play the Fabled Passage first, so that if I draw an untapped land, well, they won't have any turn 1 play most likely, but they can do stuff with Dark Ritual, of course. I will tutor the mountain, of course. That is not a good top deck. And now I'm just hoping for a third land, I guess, and more stuff to do. Although third land would go a lot of the way. Yeah, not a good precondition to win this match. Okay, they exile another Profane Tutor. Meanwhile, I do get the third land. Yeah, well, this Meek Attack will have to carry it, I guess. So they can tutor something, I don't know their hand obviously. But if they have like Unmarked Grave into Persist, I might be in trouble. Dark Ritual into Buried Alive into Persist would also work. They duress one of the removal spells, that's fine. Also kind of curious that they tap 3 mana before they play anything. So I could kind of imagine like just bringing in... Okay, they put the combo in the grave. I could imagine like Meek attacking a land, but that's also kind of very dubious. Then again, even if they somehow reanimate the Necrotic Ooze, which they probably have in hand, I can probably steal their Necrotic Ooze in response to the draw 3 trigger, right? But yeah, stealing a land doesn't make a lot of sense here, I think. They can tutor another thing here. And they know I have the Agent of Treachery and the Pestermite in my hand. Okay, they do play the Necrotic Ooze, so now I gotta be very careful. So I think what they are gonna do is discard 2, then activate the draw 3, and then I have to respond to that. Yeah, they draw 7 anyways, but this is the only point where I can steal the thing. And since Necrotic Ooze pulls from all graveyards, I think if they let this resolve and if they let me steal the Necrotic Ooze, I do actually just win. I can probably even do it with the trigger on the stack, right? Okay, they have it deal 3 damage to itself. That's kind of funny. They will still draw 7 cards, so... Can I do anything about that? No. Okay, so... I dodged the bullet for now. Yeah, I'm drawing blanks here. Well, I guess, yeah. So, I just gotta hope that the 7 cards in the hand were all bad. Don't think it makes a lot of sense to tap one of the lands here. Unmarked Grave. What are they getting with that? Well, probably the Priest. They have played a land this turn already, though. I guess they might have Dark Ritual, but then I can respond to that anyways. Or, like, it won't matter. They put another Necrotic Ooze in their grave. But yeah, if they have a Persist, I'm just dead. Okay, they have a Priest, but they cast it for their full costs. For its full costs. Okay. Yeah, no point in Pestermiting here. Okay, Shardless is interesting. I probably just gotta kill the priest anyways, right? Could potentially go Pestermite into removal spell. But actually, if I kill that, they will just reanimate it, right? Hi, finally finds. Well, I'm playing Temur Rhino Meek Skate. Don't you know the deck? Yeah, it's a weird deck with like Rhinos and Shardless Agent and Meek Attack and weird stuff. Damn, what do I do? So I could just in their upkeep flash in the Pestermite, tap the priest. I guess it would work. Buy me a turn. But it's a difficult decision. If they unearth this, there's no window of opportunity for me to respond to the reanimate, right? Yeah, there won't be. Yeah, I mean, I don't love this play, but I think it's my only good option. Oh, but I do have to put the upkeep trigger, of course. Yeah, because they can only reanimate at sorcery speed, of course. Okay, and now I just gotta hope they don't have the opportunity to combo off. Oh, Imperial Recruiter. So I win, right? I can flash in Recruiter, then tutor for Kiki-Jiki and flash in Kiki. Yeah, I think, well, I don't know what they could have that kills me here. I guess they could have like Soul Partition or something like that. Maybe a Hagra Mauling. But besides that, I think I actually have the... But I mean, I don't have any other choices anyways, right? Okay, they seem to not have anything actually. Oh! Whew! That was one of the most important top decks I've ever had. But yeah, I won the match somehow. The game. The match is still open. Okay, do I board in anything else? I don't think so. I think this is good actually. Yeah, the Cemetery Illuminator kind of important here, but yeah. Let's see. Okay, this hand has turn 2 removal, turn 3 Meek, turn 4 Agent, which I do think is good enough. 2 Meek attacks always kind of awkward, but the card is so strong in this deck that I think it's still fine. Okay, they lead with Swamp and nothing else. Oh, also they mulligan to like 5? Yeah. Oh no, oh no, what is this? Asmodeus? Well, well, I have some bad news for you, dear opponent. That lines up really poorly into my Roaring Furnace. And now they go Persist. That would be so funny. But yeah, I doubt it. Well, they have Priest, but I can just kill that. And they won't get to 5 mana anytime soon, I think. And they only have 2 cards left in hand. Okay, they persist the Priest. Oh, what a top deck. Yeah, I feel almost bad for this opponent. I mean, if they have Unmarked Grave, they can still win, right? Or Birdie Life and a land. Okay, they just concede. Yeah, that was... Yeah, my stuff lined up really well into their stuff, so I didn't expect to win this after game 1, but somehow I won against Necrotic Goose. Pretty nice. So 2-0 right now. Let's see who's still playing. Okay, 3 matches should still be ongoing, even though I can only see 2. Well, let's see. Well, I know what Rakura is going to be playing. They are probably playing the Junt deck. But yeah, I'll watch this game for a second. Okay. So it looks like blue-white control versus the like Twilight Nightmare deck or whatever you want to call it. Actually, damn, it's still not possible to see the stream in my Discord profile. It's kind of uncool. But I don't know how to fix that. Well, well. Yeah, I think this deck, like the mono black deck, is like really cool. I don't think it's super good, unfortunately. But it's pretty cool. And it's like it won some tournaments, I think, so it can certainly win. Okay, Ruined Halo. Yeah. Seems to be just standard blue-white control. Which I imagine should be like not super good into the mono black deck, but I mean it's blue-white control, it can win any matchup, I guess. But yeah, I'm wondering why Twitch and why the Twitch Discord connection doesn't work. It's kind of whatever, but yeah, I'll fix it after the stream, I guess. Oh, that's Settle Wreckage. That would have been good against this deck, but the rest took it away. Okay, we're attacking with the Cholesterol Colonnade, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, they're only on 5 life, but... And they have the protection from the Slasher. I guess Dissident can attack for 1. Yeah, I mean, this will just get killed by the Slasher, right? But yeah, I think Rest in Peace is also just quite good against the mono black deck. They rely a lot on the graveyard. So right now I think this is probably the last match. The Rakura versus unpronounceable name match might still be ongoing. But yeah, either way, currently 2-0. So I have a good shot at the top 8. Well, top 4, I guess. Okay, and Roboton does win the match because Garcia Edu conceded. Makes sense, I suppose. They can't really beat a Rest in Peace. Okay, yeah, the Rakura match is still going on, and it is the last one. Whoa, what is that? Okay, yeah, seems to be super friends doing Planeswalker things. Yeah, I've lost against this deck before, which like I always feel kind of awkward if I lose against Super Friends because it's not supposed to be a good deck, right? It's they play all the expensive Planeswalkers and the 4-mana Karth. But if you let them stick for too long, they will take over the game. Okay, well, the match is just tied now, so they're just going to game 3 now. And both players have a lot of time on the clock left, so we'll be here for a few more minutes, I guess, before the next round starts. Also, I guess, thanks for the follow, Momizao1. Not sure I pronounced that correctly. Okay, game 3 is starting. So actually, how many players are even are we in this tournament? I think like 11, right? Yeah, we are 11 players. So I think if I go 3-1, I should be like set for top 4 pretty comfortably. So I just gotta win one more match. Should be doable. Yeah, I'm not gonna be... yeah, there's not a lot going on here in this match, but yeah, people are still mulliganing. Yeah, also not the most interesting matchup, I suppose. The Super Friends is kind of interesting, I guess. But also just, like, every Super Friends deck is kind of the same. And Rakura is playing their, like, homebrewed Jant deck that they have been playing for the last few, or like the last 20 tournaments or so. Which, like, more power to them, they can do that, but it's not a super interesting deck. Okay. Fateful Absence on an Ignoble Hierarch is certainly a choice. Yeah. And this is where Bolt the Bird has brought us. We're now like pseudo doomblading the ignoble hierarchs, and they even get a clue for it. Yeah, also this is just a match where two like rather slow decks are playing against each other. So yeah. But also Super Friends on 2 lands on turn 6 or like turn 5. Obviously not where they want to be. They have lots of expensive planeswalkers. Yeah, they even get their birds killed by Kavu. So not looking good for Super Friends here. Okay, and it seems like round 3 is up again. Oh, well, it's up. Okay. I'm up against MTGO. They've only been playing Twin this season. Alright, let's play against Twin and see if I can win. Alright, game immediately starts. Very nice. I think by now the stream should be working again as well. Yeah, seems to work. Okay, we do have Lelia plus Cascader in the starting hand. So if I assume they are on Twin, this should be a solid starting hand. Obviously, if they're on red deck wins or something, then it's terrible, but let's just, okay, seems like Twin. Let's start with the bridge. Exiling the draw 2. So basically the idea with the bridge is if we play Shardless Agent into Rhinos, we get exactly 10 power, 10 toughness on the board, and then we can play the card off the bridge for free on the next turn. Which is pretty nice. And there's a lot of like one-off Meek Attack targets in the deck. So... Oh, actually I can draw an extra card here. Since I can't play anything anyways. I am gonna have to discard something. Which is probably gonna be... Well, what is it gonna be? I guess... I don't need the extra card draw. Yeah, so for some reason, Twin players started playing Academy Lore Masters. Which against my deck isn't really good, because I have so many like 2-mana kill spells. And this makes a good target for them. Yeah, I imagine if I play Lelia here, it will get countered. Shardless will probably get countered as well. But I guess I play Lelia anyways. Because if it doesn't get countered, it's better than if the Rhinos get countered? I don't know. And like I think they only run exactly Invert Polarity and... Okay, they also are an Aether Spike and also Archmage's Charm, so they do have a lot of counter spells. Yep, there's the Aether Spike. Can't pay for that, obviously. But also, like, basically everything I play here is a must counter threat. Like, they can't let the Rhinos resolve, really. They can't let the Meek Attack resolve for sure. I will go for the Shardless here. Put a bit of board presence onto the board. But yeah, obviously if they go Might into Twin, they just win. But they can always do that, and I can't really play around that. Well, I could have played around it by keeping up Mystic Snake mana. But then, like, I'm also just doing nothing. Okay, there's a Might. Yeah, okay, it looks like they have Splinter Twin. Yeah. They also don't draw the extra card, so they most likely have it. Yep. Well, it's actual Splinter Twin. Yeah, the problem with the Twin deck is, like, they're mostly just a control deck. But they also have the Twin combo that they will randomly kill you with on turn 4 or turn 5. And this deck can't play any shocks or anything like that. We only have sorcery speed removal. So this might be an issue. Yeah, I mean I can concede here. Let's just go to game 2. Okay. Although Sunring Vitae is pretty interesting. Yeah, I can just destroy the Splinter Twin with one of the triggers in the stack. So I think this should work. Well, no, not that. So I think Sunwing Vitae is probably good here. They also probably play Palantir of Orthanc or something. Maybe other stuff, I don't know. Then all of the counter spells come in. Although, honestly, Rush Off isn't even that good against them because it doesn't really favorably counter the Splinter Twin. So yeah, I don't know. Brush Off probably not good enough here. Interestingly, Haze Frog is one option to overcome the twin stuff. Kind of. It's not a good tool, but it's probably worth bringing in. Venser is not really that good. I guess Mystic Snake might be okay. Actually, do they have shocks? No, but they have Vibrant Outbursts. They might board them out though. Yeah, I can probably go down to at least 2 at most 2 Lelias. Hornet Queen is irrelevant here. Also, I don't need that much removal. They do have stuff worth removing, like Chromos T-Shark, Lawmaster, stuff like that, but they mostly just play instant sorceries. So maybe like Roaring Furnace is actually just enough. And then I need one last cut. Yeah, I guess it's gonna be Lelia. Okay, let's see. Okay, this hand has Meek Attack plus Kiki-Jiki and 2 Shardless Agents. So it's definitely a keep. Yeah, I can just go back to back Shardless Agent and then turn 5 Meek Attack most likely. Oh, and I get another Shardless. I do have four Rhinos in the main board. So even if they counter 2 of them, I can just play the 3rd one. Yeah, they do probably Aether Spike that. Yep. But I still get a 2-2, so it's not too terrible. And I can do it again next turn, and the turn after that. Okay, that's not a good top deck, but the plan doesn't change. Yeah, I probably want to suspend the Footfalls as well. Okay, they have Spell Pierce. So I guess it's gonna be Shardless Agent Beatdown. So in the last deck, in the last twin version they played, they also had Desynchronization, which is pretty good against Rhinos, but it also just doesn't bounce the Shardless Agents because they're artifacts for some reason. So I guess it's time for another one. Okay, and they let this one resolve and just Memory Delusion instead. That's fine with me. So I do have lethal on board if they don't have anything to block with or remove stuff. So yeah, I guess I can see if they... Okay, they don't try to... Okay, they do try to tap something. Which does mean I want to keep up some amount of like mana or creatures for Sundering Vitae. I can, however, Meek Attack and leave 2 Shardless Agents open. Yeah, that seems like a good plan. Okay, and they concede. So we go to game 3. I do think I have to be more defensive in game 3. But either way, I think this configuration is fine. Yeah, I mean triple Shardless Agent back to back is pretty strong. Okay, this hand is kind of, I don't know. It has 2 lands, it can play the Footfalls. It has the Kiki-Jiki that I don't necessarily want this early. I'm gonna try to go for a mulligan. Yeah, this is not that good either, but it has removal. And I have some draws, so I'm gonna keep this as a mul to 6. Yeah, but yeah, being able to kill the Lawmasters if they still play them might be worth it. Yeah, those are getting killed. They don't even have Spell Pierce mana, so no more Lawmasters. So here, I probably just keep open mana for Pestermite. Because if they play Pestermite, I can do it in response to the Splinter Twin. But yeah, let's see what they do with their untapped mana. Might just have been mana for Invert Polarity anyways. They do go for the Might. Oh no, they can tap one of my lands! Yeah, okay, now I just gotta hope. Yeah, I didn't see that. Man, do they really... That's crazy, man. Like 2 out of 3 games they just said natural Splinter Twin. Well, unfortunate. But if I win round 4, I can still make top 4. And potentially win the tournament. But yeah, they got super lucky here. Yeah. Well, can't do anything about that. So a bunch of matches still ongoing. I guess we'll look into this one for a second. Seems to be Mono Blue Affinity versus Red Deck wins. Yeah, this Affinity deck has been kind of popping up a bit. I don't think I've lost to it a single time. I'm not sure. It doesn't seem super good if you ask me. Yeah, man, I'm kind of bummed out about the last game where, like, if Pestermite didn't tap lands, I could have tapped the Pestermite or like I could have tapped their Pestermite with my Pestermite in response to the Splinter being cast. But of course, if you only have 2 mana, it doesn't work. Yeah, I think this red deck wins player actually won the last tournament. Or like I definitely lost to them in like one of the like quarterfinals or something in one of the last two tournaments. I mean, actually, I can check that on the website real quick on the second monitor. But yeah, they won the APEC this morning, in which I placed 4th. So yeah, red deck wins, still going strong. I mean, it's usually just a solid deck in Penny Dreadful, and in most Magic formats for that matter. But yeah, it doesn't look too good for the mono blue player, especially since the Chandra can just draw an extra card each turn, kind of. Well, not really, but it's an attempt at doing that at least. Okay, yeah. I also had this happen against me, where they tap the creatures with the Grand Archivist and they like actually cast a Platinum Empyrean. Very unusual, since usually you just see that being madcapped in with like madcap experiment. But I guess this also works. And I do think the red deck wins player probably doesn't have a way to beat that, right? I guess maybe with the Chandra emblem, but also not really, right? You would have to spend 8 mana, so unlikely. They might have like burst light or like chain lightning plus what's it called? Brimstone volley that can get the job done. But also they are on 1 cards in hand, so looking kind of rough. I can check the record. Okay, the record is tied, so whoever wins this match will win the match. Well, whoever wins this game will win the match this way. Oh wait, that okay. But they oh yeah, okay, they only play the 2-1 because it was on an adventure, right? Yeah, otherwise if they had the actual like battle whatever mode of the Embereth Shieldbreaker, then they could have just killed the Empyrean, but they don't seem to have that. Yeah, also, I don't know if this is the exact same deck I played against, but when I played against Affinity in Penny Dreadful last time, they had like the Kuldotha Forge Master or whatever it's called, like 5 mana creature that like you can sack 3 artifacts and grab 1 from the deck for free. And then they used that to grab like the Walls of Basing or whatever, the card from Avatar that makes all other creatures indestructible, and Platinum Angel and stuff like that, and it was kind of crazy. But I don't know if this is the exact same deck. Yeah, that was yesterday, and the game was actually really crazy because in the end, like both me and my opponent, like I stole their Platinum Angel. Is it actually called that? Their angel that makes them not be able to lose a game. I stole that with my Agent of Treachery, and they still had Platinum Empyrean, I think, or like a lot of creatures. So I had to remove all the stops in my main phase except for the attack phase, so that I could not use all of the timer, and then I won because they timed out. It was a really weird match, and I wish I had recorded that, but I didn't. Yeah, also this deck is playing Mere Servitor, I think, because it has synergy with that Forge Master card, because you can like sack 3 to grab an artifact from your deck every turn with this. But yeah, pretty weird affinity deck. Not like the ones you see in other formats. Also, this is the last match that's still ongoing, so after this we have the final round of Swiss, which hopefully I can win so I can make top 4. And yeah, if I don't make top 4, stream will likely just end. But if I do, I will continue until I'm out. Yeah, what are they exiling here? A Hazard and a Shock. Well, these cards do nothing against Platinum Empyrean. So I guess they're just digging for like artifact removal here. Okay, yeah, killing this makes sense. They do need to kill that first before they even try to remove the Empyrean. But yeah, I don't know how many shield breakers Red Deck Wins plays. Seems like 3 from looking at the last list. So they have 1 still in the deck. Might take a while to find in those 40 cards. Oh well, 38 cards, but still. And also I think the moment that the Affinity player draws the Kodotha Forgemaster, it's probably over for Red Deck Wins. Or just like Walls of Passing, say, or whatever it's called. Yeah, they're making a lot of mana here. So it looks like Blightsteel Colossus maybe? Yeah, it is Blightsteel. And that can end the game somewhat quickly. Of course, if Red Deck Wins finds a shield breaker right now, then they probably win. But if they don't, they probably lose. They do have some redraws though, I guess. Which can be kind of nice for them. But yeah, they need to dig quite deep, I guess. If only Mono Red had bounce spells for the shield breakers. Yeah, they have a lot of power on the board, but it's of no use for them. Oh, okay, Brimstone Volley is interesting. But they don't have any other way to deal 3 damage to the Empyrean, I think. They could theoretically deal the Brimstone Volley damage to the Felden and basically dig for 5 cards. Or like, dig 5 cards deep. I'm not sure if they see that though, or if it's worth it. Yeah, that I don't know the purpose of that, since the Colossus has Indestructible. Yeah, they probably missed the Indestructible line. Yeah. Very unfortunate. They should have just used the Brimstone Volley on the Felden, I think. Yeah, they would have gotten 1 out of 5 cards to play until the end of the next turn. This way, I think it's actually over. I guess maybe not this turn. But next turn, most likely. Alright, so one more chance to see a card with the NT. Discarding Chain Lightning. They could have also aimed that at Felden, but they probably don't see that line. Oh, and they excel a Mountain, so it's over, I guess. Yeah. So Affinity wins. which also means the round is completed. Yeah, they should have probably tried to chain lightning the Felden, because I do think they had one more shield breaker in the deck. But yeah. So time for round 4 of the Swiss, which will start in a second. Again, if I win this, I make it to top 4. If I don't, I probably don't. Damn, I should have used the time to record the deck tag for this deck, but I guess I'll have to do it at the end. So we're just waiting for... Okay. So I am up against J-How. I think it's what they're called. Yeah, J-How 1991. Alright. Oh no. So my opponent has been exclusively playing mono red variants, or more specifically Flare deck wins, which, considering they have 4 Price of Progresses and 4 Flare of Duplications in the main deck, is probably a terrible matchup. But I'm gonna try to do my best anyways. Okay, so this hand has 2 Rhinos, it's a mulligan. This hand has 5 lands, it's a mulligan to be honest. Okay, this hand is weird, I'm gonna have to keep it. One Meek Attack goes to the bottom. And I guess the Kiki-Jiki. But yeah, if they are on mono red, then this is gonna be troublesome. Yeah, they are mono red, apparently. And I immediately redraw the Meek Attack. Yeah, this is just also not the kind of hand that wins against Flare deck wins. Okay, Robber of the Rich, that will exile one of my cards, right? Yeah, they get an Imperial Recruiter, kind of whatever. And I don't have any plays until turn 3. Not optimal. I still have more cards than them in hand. Okay, Orisa also kind of whatever. Like, this is not the kind of deck that I think Robber of the Rich is good against. Because I play a very synergistic pile. Mostly. Yeah, they can recruit her for something. Yeah, Codebreaker makes sense. It has haste after all. Yeah, another not so good top deck. Yeah, I don't know, man. So maybe I just play Meek Attack here and hope for the best. But also they're gonna do at least 5 damage to me. They can probably do 7 or 8. But also one Lelia doesn't change that, right? So I gotta play to my outs, I suppose, and play the Meek Attack. But I do think this will probably just be a turn for win if they have like Chain Lightning plus Flare or something. But also I do think this gets a lot better in game 2 and 3 where I have the Wrath and the counter spell for instant sorceries. Okay, they probably have a shock or something. Yeah, so I can flash in 2 things. Probably gonna be Mystic Snake and Orisa. So I can block 2 things. Okay, so I might barely survive. But yeah, it's gonna be difficult. At least I guess Orisa can draw me into some other creature. Yeah, gonna try to counter the Incinerate here. Which weirdly enough they aimed at the creature, not at me. Yeah, Shardless would be good, but yeah. So this and this. Wait, is it enough anyways? Yeah, it's enough anyways. Well, unfortunate. Yeah, it's exactly lethal. Okay, but yeah, as expected, this matchup is probably terrible game 1. But I do bring in basically my whole sideboard. Well, not the artifact enchantment removal, I guess. And Lelia can go. Rissa is not that good. Agent of Treachery is also not that good. I don't have any super important enchantments, super important permanents. Venser isn't really good. And then I gotta cut 2 more things. So, okay, I do want 1 Orisa as a tutor target. So I can cut 1 Footfalls, which is probably fine. The game is not gonna go long anyways. And if it does, then it won't be too important. I can probably cut the Mammoth. Although I'm on the play, so I need every land I can get. So 2 more cuts. Honestly, Imperial Court is kind of slow, but it's also the most important creature in the deck. Yeah, probably Orisa isn't worth it. And then, what's gonna be the last thing I remove? I don't know. Maybe 1 Brush Off. But I do need to counter the Price of Progress at all costs in a lot of occasions. Although it is better with Failed Passage and the bunch of basics I play. Yeah, this is the only thing I can see myself. Although actually, yeah, it's gonna be fine. I could also see cutting one of the Glen Elandra Archmages. But those are also just very good against a lot of the deck. So this hand has a lot of removal, but only 2 lands. I do run 25. But no, I gotta mulligan this. I gotta look for a better hand. And yeah, this is a better hand. No basics, so Price of Progress will hit hard, but it has a lot of removal and stuff to do. Hornet Queen can go for now. Yeah, Stadium Headliner. Probably worth killing. Even if it's just for the 2 damage I don't take. And then I can probably just Shardless next turn, right? Get some Rhinos on the board. Meek Attack is interesting here, but I think Rhinos is just makes too much sense. So if they have Price of Progress plus Flare, that's 12 damage right now. Theoretically, they could have 1 drop plus double Flare plus Price of Progress, and that would be kill. Or they could have... Oh. Okay, that's very interesting. They did have the Flare. They use it to copy the Rhinos. So they're probably just going for the trade. Yeah. And now we're even again. So no 4th land yet. Yeah, probably a good time to play Meek Attack. If I draw a land, I can go like Recruiter into some big creature, possibly the Hornet Queen, possibly the Glenlandra. I guess in this case I can also just hardcast the Imperial Recruiter. Actually, probably I want to get a Shardless, because they don't seem to have anything. Maybe Kiki-Jiki actually. I need another land for that, but then it wins me the game. They do probably have some shocks or something. I actually think Shardless makes the most sense. It's just the most consistent option here. Looks kind of like they're flooded. Well, if they have another flare, then they probably use it here. Okay, they don't. Yeah, cheeky tech for one. Not really necessary, but they won't have any ways to deal with my Rhino tokens. But yeah, I'd rather have a few basics on the field. Okay, first price of progress. Do we have another one and a shock? No, just a draw two cards. Discarding a mountain. Yeah, so I can deal a bunch of damage here. Probably it's good to hold back 1 or 2 blockers. So if I do this, I will probably be able to win next turn. So it should be fine. If they have 2 hasty attackers, then I have 2 blockers for it. Yeah, no reason to play the Meek Attack. They won't have enchantment removal in mono red. Okay, Charming Scoundrel for the draw. So they're probably just thinking for price or flare or something. They discarded another Scoundrel. So they have something, but I don't know what. Maybe Bryn. Okay, another price. And they have the flare. Okay, so I'm just dead. Well, guess this is the end of the road. Yeah, flare deck wins. Is a very tough matchup. Alright, so I ended up 2-2. I think my chances of making top 8 are basically none. So yeah, there are currently 5 players with 6 points. I mean, it's technically possible, but it's so unlikely that I'm just gonna bank on not making it. So I guess at the very end of the video, which I don't know, maybe I'll link to that in the, I don't know how I'll do it for YouTube, but I'll do the deck tech real quick. So this is a Cascade deck. It's also a Meek Attack deck. It's also a Rhinos deck, and it's also a Mosswood Bridge deck. So the idea is we have Shardless Agent to cascade into Crashing Footfalls, which puts 10 power on the board and 10 toughness. So that activates Mosswood Bridge and Orisa, which gives us value. But then we also have another angle, which is Meek Attack. Can put creatures in with total power and toughness 5 or less onto the field. And basically every creature in this deck fulfills that criterion. We can do the most important one is Imperial Recruiter, which can tutor a bunch of stuff like Mystic Snake as a counterspell, Panzer as a bounce, Agent of Treachery as a steal effect that also kind of removes stuff more or less. Not if it's symmetrical, but otherwise it removes stuff. Hornet Queen as kind of like a blocker that makes a bunch of jump blockers. And most importantly, we also have Pestermite plus Kiki-Jiki. So if we have a Meek Attack and then we untap with 6 mana and we have a recruiter in the hand, we can recruiter for Kiki, put in Kiki into play, copy the recruiter, tutor for Pestermite, and then go Pestermite, Kiki-Jiki, so it's basically twin. Yeah, and that's most of the deck. We have some removal with Wrong Furnace and Cut. The mana base is Fabled Passage mana base with some basics, but also just Temur. And of course the 3 bridges. And then in the sideboard we have some more counter spells. Glenlandra Archmage, also supposedly very good against like control and decks that are on a lot of non-creature spells, because we can flash it in with Meek Attack, and even if we don't counter something, it just dies and comes back. And if we counter something, it comes back and won't be sacrificed. Some enchantment removal and artifact removal in Sunring Vitae. Ace Frog as a fork effect. Some more removal. And a Wrath. And also Cemetery Illuminator as a graveyard hate. And that's it. That's the deck. Oh yeah, thanks Toggle Rock. Yeah, I do think this list is pretty cool, and I did top 4 2 tournaments already with it. I think it was 2 tournaments, right? Yeah. 2 tournaments this weekend. Not this one, most likely, since I got killed by Red Deck wins. But yeah, I hope everyone who's still here enjoyed the stream. I hope everyone on YouTube who's watching this in retrospect enjoyed the video. Yeah, I'm gonna produce more content in the near future, so stay tuned. And yeah, I hope everyone has a good rest of the day and a good week, that is, starting tomorrow. And yeah, Paint Virtual is a great format. And yeah, gonna end the stream here. So goodbye.